What's up, everybody? So my name is Devin, and what I'm going to show you guys is where you can get the alpha and the omega. So I'm sure that many of you have heard the phrase, if you only knew the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, you would have a key to the universe. Whether you believe Nikola Tesla said it or you want to give props to anyone else, that's completely up to you. But there's power in that phrase. There's also power in the phrase that says if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. First and foremost, when it comes to Vortex Math, we're going to focus on this circle right here. All right. So when it comes to Vortex Math, we know that that is a pattern. And that pattern specifically looks like this. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, and 5. Okay. And then it repeats all over again. Now you can find this by basic doubling. It's very simple. If you take 1 times 2, you end up with 2. If you take 2 times 2, you end up with 4. If you take 4 times 2, you end up with 8. If you take 8 times 2, you end up with 16. 16 times 2 is going to give you 32. 32 times 2 is going to give you 64. Okay, now the reason I'm doing this is because you can see here, you started with 1. 1, 2, 4, 8. 1 plus 6 is 7. 3 plus 2 is 5. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 6 plus 4 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. And then 1. Start all over again. 64 times 2 is going to be 128. So again, you just add it up. So you got 10, 11, that's going to be 2. So the cycle keeps going on and on forever. And that's why it's 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. Now you can do this in multiple ways, but for right now, we're just going to go ahead and stick with just the doubling part. Okay, so that's the pattern. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. So if I were to mark this, I have this really amazing shape that reveals. And this shape is very important. If you want to learn more about this shape, my advice is study 1937, study the Holocaust, study Hitler, study the metaphysics of the Mandela effect. In the Mandela effect, you're going to end up finding this shape that I'm going to show you that was specifically used. So if I were to go ahead and draw a line from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 7, 7 to 5, and right back to 1. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. If I were to just go ahead and go 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, and back to 1, I get this shape right here. Okay. Now, this shape right here, you might notice it. It looks just like the VW, which is exactly what it is. Okay. So that is going to be the first one. So this is Vortex Math. That's what we're going to write. This is a Vortex Math. It is a pattern. It is a pattern that runs in all of medicine, in all of science. It's the understanding basically that 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, and 5 are light. Okay. So this represents light. And of course, everything comes from light. So the idea is that if you were to drop a photon of light here and here, it is going to follow a path, go down here, hit 4. It's going to follow a path, hit 7, and hit 5. And they're both going to hit at the exact same place right here, therefore ricocheting off. That is creating self-sustaining energy. That is the idea behind this. Okay? Now, in the Bible, let me grab another marker so you guys can see this. So in the Bible, there is a scripture that says, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And it is found in Revelations 21:6. Now we know that 2 plus 6 plus 1 is going to give me a 9. But what we don't know is what this Alpha and this Omega really is. So I'm going to show you. Okay, so taking this understanding and the power of this shape, I am going to show you it here. So we know that if we were to take what Tesla said and focus on the 3, the 6, and the 9, we have one equilateral triangle. But inside of this, there is 2 other equilateral triangles. The second one is going to be 1, 7, and 4. So in other words, if I were to draw a line right here, I end up with an equilateral triangle. Okay, but for what we're working on, what you're actually going to see is you're going to see something completely different. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use the green to represent this. Okay, so if I look at this, what I notice is there are numbers that are not being touched by 1, 7, and 4. The numbers that are not being touched by 1, 7, and 4 are going to be 9, 8, 6, 5, 3, and 2. Okay. Now, what we're going to notice is that this is kind of a jumbled mix of numbers. Doesn't really have much value to it. But if we focus on this pattern that we were showing right here, well, now it gets really interesting, because what you're going to see is if we start with 9, and again, I'm using green to represent this. We start with 9, and then we move to 8, and 8 we move down to 6. 6 we move over to 2. 2 moves down to 3. 3 moves down to 5, and back up. So if we were to draw a line, well, look at that. We have the exact same shape that we were creating. So again, if we get rid of this triangle right here, you'll be able to see a little bit more clear. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So you can see that what you are actually looking at is you're looking at the exact same shape, just going another direction. Okay, so you have the VW basically, and again, if you were to drop it, it's going to hit the exact same thing. This right here is actually 9, 8, 6, 2, 3, 5, and 0. The reason that it is 0 is because of the fact that 9 holds 2 values. It holds a positive and it holds a negative. Okay, so this is actually called an omega code. I am the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end. Okay, but it doesn't stop there, because now what we're going to do is we're going to move over to this one right here. But instead of me actually putting the triangle, I'm going to have you guys kind of visualize the understanding of that. There is another triangle that is found in this. I talk about it a lot when we're talking about our chakra frequencies, which is 2, 8, and 5. If I were to draw a triangle, that's going to be your third equilateral triangle that is found inside of this. Okay, but for this example, what I'd like you to see is that 2, 8, and 5 are the numbers that are being touched. So what are the numbers that are not being touched? Well, what we can see here is we've got a 9. Okay, we have a 1. We have a 3. We have a 4. We have a 6. And we have a 7. Okay, now what did I just talk about? I talked about the fact that 9 holds both negative and positive. So it's very important for us to understand that if we're going to use it over here, then we've got to use the opposite over here. Okay, so we're going to start with 0. Okay, so this is actually going to represent a 0 instead of a 9. Again, you could write 0 if you wanted to. Doesn't matter. It holds the exact same value. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to start at 0, then we're going to hit 1, then we're going to hit 3, and then we're going to hit 7. Then we're going to hit 6, then we're going to hit 4, and we're going to go back up. So we're going to go and follow 1, 3, 7. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from 9 to 1, 1, 3, 7, 6, 4, 9. Okay, so now our pattern is 1, 3, 7, 6, 4, and 9. Now, there are a couple things that are really profound in this, but the main thing we want to focus on is understanding that 137 is what is referred to as the alpha number. Okay, that is the alpha number as it is. So before you even get into this understanding, we know that 137 stands for the fine structure constant. The fine structure constant is the moment that a wave decides that it's going to collapse its wave function and become a particle of light. So basically all around you are these invisible waves that you can't see. And when they decide, and that's the most important part, to decide, as in day split, as in they decide within the day to split, when they decide that they want to actually be seen, they become a particle of light. Now, you can find this study by studying the double slit experiment. By watching it, you'll actually be able to see exactly how this works. But for right now, we're just going with the understanding that we know that the alpha is 137, which means that 0, 1, 3, 7, 6, 4, 9 is going to be the alpha number. Okay, so again, let's go back over this. We started over here with 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, 1, which is referred to as vortex math. And that's where you draw a line 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, and 1. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. Nikola Tesla, Marco Rodin, they all talked about it. Okay, so that's what it is that you're looking for. Now, if you move that over here, because we started with the 3, 6, and 9 that Tesla was talking about, and we grab the other equilateral triangle, which is going to be 1, 7, and 4, we end up revealing the numbers that are not being touched, which is 9, 8, 6, 2, 3, 5, and 0. This is known as our omega number. And if we move over here, we do the exact same thing. We know that 2, 8, and 5 are of the equilateral triangle. So the numbers that are not actually being touched are going to be 0, 1, 3, 7, 6, 4, and 9, which give you your alpha. Okay. Now, what is going to be really amazing is when you see the power of what it was that was being said in Revelations 21:6. So again, we go back to Revelations 21:6 says, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and start with a 0, 1, 3, 7, 6, 4, and 9. This is referred to as the alpha. The alpha is going to be a total of 30 when you add those up. 1 plus 3 plus 7 plus 6 plus 4 plus 9 is going to end up being 30. Now, we also know that there is an omega. Again, I tried to change up the colors so you guys can actually see this. This is going to be, the omega is going to be starting with a 9, and then it is going to be 8, 6, 2, 3, 5, and 0. And this is going to be a total of 33. Okay, now what you should be able to see already is that if we were to draw a line right here, we've got 9, 1 plus 8, 9, 3 plus 6, fix my marker, 9, 7 and 2, 9, 6 and 3, 9, 5 and 4, 9, 9 and 0, 9, giving you a total of 7 nines, which is very, very important when it comes to the metaphysical side of this. You also end up with a total of 63, another very, very important part when it comes to vortex math. This is the alpha, this is the omega. And of course, the ultimate understanding is going to be 9, because 9 times 7 is going to give you 63, and 6 plus 3 is always going to take you back to 9. 9 is the container that holds everything in it, which is why it's in Revelations 21:6. 2 plus 1 plus 6 is going to be 9. Okay, so that right there is explaining to you how you got the alpha and the omega from vortex math. This is science, this is biblical, this is spiritual, and this is metaphysical. Because what is so amazing is that 9 is the container that holds all of time, all of matter, and all of light. 7 is the pattern, the flow that you want to follow.